best car, SUV, or truck, guess what? You're in luck. Frontier Motors is down the street. Got the best deals that can't be beat.
Hello and welcome to the Frontier Motor Show. This is Iven Streckel, owner of Frontier Motors, and we're going to be talking about cars for the next half hour as we have been doing since 1996 on the show. I think we're the longest running car show in Pensacola. So anyways, let's get started. One of the things we want to talk about, what's going on in the industry. You might not necessarily be ready to buy a car right now. So of course, this is being the Frontier Motor Show. We talk a little bit what we do different at Frontier Motors when you are in the market for the car, for a car. We also talk a little bit more what's going on in the car industry. Not that you really care, but there are some car nuts out there that think this is a pretty cool show as far as giving you some insight on what's going on in the new car industry. Even though Frontier Motors sells used cars, I'm very interested in new cars because today's new car, hopefully, will be tomorrow's used cars. You know, if they didn't sell any new cars, I'd be out of business because somebody's got to get those used ones, and that's going to be us. And one of the new things out there, if you haven't heard about it yet, is the new electric Hummer that's coming out, and it's called a Hummer EV. And it says that GMC confirmed last week that a fully loaded 2022, which next year they're coming out with this new Hummer. It's called the Hummer Edition 1, which, by the way, costs $110,000. It's going to weigh 9,046 pounds. They have a picture of an elephant next to it because it weighs as much as an elephant. Hard to believe. And it says what weighs 4.5 tons and has a big trunk. It's either an elephant or it's a Hummer because there's no motor in the front, so that the front, you open the hood and it's a trunk. Get it? 9,000 pounds. A regular GMC 1500 weighs 4,500 pounds. It weighs as much as 2 GMCs. The reason, of course, is the heavy 24 module ulithium, not lithium, ulithium. What the heck is that? Battery, spelled ULTIUM, battery pack that gives the Hummer HV an estimated 350 miles of range, which for a 9,000 pound vehicle, I guess is pretty darn good, seeing that a Tesla, which weighs quite a bit less than that, gets about a 350 mile range. And that's their extended range vehicle. The regular ones are like in the 270 to 300 range. Batteries make most of the EVs significantly heavier than the gasoline counterparts, although few, if any, of the other models headed to dealerships in the coming are going to be weighing that much. So, folks, when I talk about this new Hummer, it goes in with what's going on in the new car industry, and there's a whole big article in Automotive News about this whole thing going on, and it's about electric vehicles, and I'm still mystified. You know, I sell used cars for a living. We stock what our customers ask for. And we normally stock between 300 and 400 cars. So we're a matter of fact, we're probably the largest used car dealer in the Southeast right here in the Florida section. We stock more as an independent dealer. We've got more cars than anybody. So we've got a pretty good handle on what customers want. And I stock what our customers are asking for. Our customers are asking for pickup trucks. They're asking for SUVs. They're not asking for luxury sedans so much. So I might only have 7 or 8 luxury sedans because they're not asking for that. They hardly ever, actually, I'm going to almost say, other than about 5 years ago, somebody asked for a Mitsubishi e-Mev, whatever that's called. They don't even make them anymore. And that's the only electric vehicle I've ever had a customer ask for. Now, we have sold a couple of Teslas, which I thought, you know, because they're selling like crazy in California, and I see some of them running around downtown Pensacola, we do really good. I sold 4 Teslas so far. We lost money in every one. People are coming in, and we buy them at wholesale prices. I don't mark them up very much to be competitive. So it's not the fact that I'm trying to make a bunch of money on these cars. Obviously, we have to make money to stay in business, but we don't have to be obnoxious about it. So I had our Teslas priced very competitively with everybody else out there. And by the way, there wasn't a lot out there. Very huge savings over a brand new one. Lost money in every single one. There just weren't enough people coming in and saying, hey, look at Tesla. I had a Tesla S model on the lot, a pearl white one, that nobody looked at for 90 days, which is impossible. At least people would look at a test drive and say, I'll think about it, I'll let you know, maybe they'll buy something else. But nobody even came and looked at the car, and it was the only one within 500 miles. There were 2 in Atlanta, and that's it. So I'm mystified with this electric thing. And here's what this article says. It says, Honda is by its own reckoning the world's largest producer of internal combustion engines. Now, they're not the largest seller of cars, but Honda, don't forget, Honda makes motorcycles, lawnmowers, generators, and airplanes. And Honda is saying that by 2040, all of its automotive division is going to be electric, every single one, which also includes Acura, because I don't know if anybody knows this, Honda and Acura are the same. Acura is the Highline division of Honda, Infiniti is the Highline division of Nissan, and Lexus is the Highline division of Toyota, and so on and so on. Genesis is the Highline division of Hyundai. But they're saying that Honda and Acura joined Cadillac. Can you imagine Cadillac making only electric cars? Ford of Europe. Now, Ford America hasn't said 100% yet, but Ford of Europe said that they're going to be 100% electric. Jaguar. Can you imagine? I love Jaguars, especially the little F-type sports car, that hot rod, double turbo, supercharged, 500 horsepower car. I love that little car. It's going to be all electric now. Mini. All the Minis are electric. All Volvos are going to be electric. And they're trying to say is, what they're trying to figure out is, where will all these batteries come from? We can't even make chips. I don't know if you heard about the chip shortage. There's a big new car shortage in the world right now. Why is there a new car shortage? Well, everybody came out of the woodworks when the COVID almost got over with. Everybody came back out. They hadn't bought nothing in half a year, if not longer. Now they're all coming in. One of the things they're buying, among other goods, is cars. They're buying cars like crazy. Well, guess what? They can't build them fast enough. So now you go to a new car dealer. There's a couple of dealers that I saw in automotive news. Their new car stores are down to 3 and 4 cars on the lot. Everything else that you see that's on the lot is already pre-sold. So they can't even make gasoline-powered cars. And they're saying, like, where are all these cars that are going to be electric? Where are they going to get all these batteries from? And obtain enough lithium and other minerals to make them. Will there be enough charging stations? That's another thing. It's called, you got range anxiety. You know what that is. You're not knowing if you're going to make it to your destination. Now you're going to have charging anxiety. So you know that you're going to go to a certain place. You know you're going to go to a hotel tonight. That hotel is 300 miles away. You've got a Hummer that goes 350 miles. You get there, and all the charging ports are being used. And you know what? Those people park in those charging ports. They plug their cars in. They don't pick them up till the next morning. It's not like a gas station where you plug in your gas, 50 seconds, a minute later, you're out of there. And it takes overnight to charge these cars. They do have superchargers, and supercharger might mean 3 or 4 hours you can charge your car to 70%. But can you imagine going to a gas station, putting the nozzle in your car, and spending 3 hours there? And that's what you're going to do right now based on what's going on with electric. So you've got range anxiety, not knowing if you're going to make it. I went to, matter of fact, I've got a trip coming up to Key West. I'm going to drive to Key West. I can't take an electric car. I don't know. I'm not sure where to plug that thing in. I know they have apps for that. But again, I worry about, is that charging station going to be available? And if it's a charging station at a dealer's lot or at a hotel, what if it's not the hotel I want to go to? And the hotel I want to go to doesn't have a charging station. So these are all little things that come into place. Not to mention servicing, not to mention body shops. What does it take to fix these cars? And it says, to a growing number of automakers, these worries are simple little details that are going to be ironed out as they approach their deadlines. Now, when I say all electric, we're talking about GM said 2030 is all electric. Cadillac General Motors said 2030. Mini says 2030. So we're talking about 2000. We're talking about 9 years from now. So who knows? Maybe 9 years from now they're going to have the technology to be able to make an electric car that goes 1,500 miles on one charge. I'd be okay with that. I don't, unless I want to go from here to Seattle, which I think is like 3,000 some miles. I'd be okay with going to a charging station if I can make it 1,000 miles. Heck, my range on fuel right now is 300 to 400 to 500 miles, depending on where you go to. Anyway, enough of that. I'm very confused about it. I don't have anybody asking for an electric car, and General Motors says they're only going to make electric cars. Mini says they're only going to make electric cars. Ford says they're going to make electric cars. Jaguar is going to make electric cars. I can't figure out. I guess they're not asking me for my opinion. So I got no clout, I guess. Why should you buy a used car? When we talk about Frontier Motors a little bit, Consumers Report says there's a reason for it. It says, this is Consumers Reports I'm reading out of, so just so you know, I'm not making these figures up. A used car sweet spot. 2- and 3-year-old used cars are often the best values when shopping for a car. Their price is lower than comparable new cars, and continuing expenses such as collision insurance and taxes are lower. Plus, a 2- or 3-year-old vehicle has already taken its biggest depreciation hit, but still may have warranty left. For example, a Hyundai and a Kia and a Mitsubishi, I don't know if you know this or not, they have a better warranty than Toyota and Honda. Toyota and Honda have a 3-year warranty. The other 3 have a 5-year, 60,000-mile bumper-to-bumper warranty. So if you buy a 3-year-old Hyundai or Mitsubishi or a Kia, you still have 2 years of warranty left. If you buy a 2-year-old one, you have as much warranty left as if you bought a brand new Honda or Toyota or General Motors product. Really interesting that Honda and Toyota, which talks about always them having the best, most reliable cars, well, if they have the most and best reliable cars, why don't they give you a warranty to prove it? If they don't have any breakdowns, why don't they give you a 5-year warranty? I never could figure that out. And Hyundai has had their warranty in place for over 10 years now. I love that they have a good warranty because I sell used cars. So I love to be able to warranty our cars. By the way, the 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty that they always talk about, that is not transferable. That only goes to the first owner. Fortunately, when you buy a car from Frontier Motors, we include a warranty. We have a warranty coverage that's the same as what you get from the new car dealer. So if you buy a 2-year-old Honda, for example, the drivetrain warranty, which is that 10-year, 100,000 that they talk about, you still get that. So if it's a 2-year-old car, you get 8 more years, up to 100,000 miles on the odometer, just as if it was brand new. And the other thing is when you buy a 2-year-old car, buying a used car is also a way to get a nicer, safer car than you'd be able to buy brand new. So if, for example, and you might not know this, but you see these base prices on the cars, and the difference between the base price and the bottom line price can be as much as $20,000. On some manufacturers, even more than that, and that is all based on equipment. And a Ford F-150 is a prime example. You know, you can get a base model truck with nothing on it that has a base price of $40,000, and you blink, and it's $65,000 for a fully loaded Lariat with the panel roof and the big screen and the backup camera and the 360 camera and all the safety gear. So there's a $25,000 difference between base. Well, if you buy that vehicle used because of depreciation, you can get a lot of that equipment without paying for it. For example, if a panoramic sunroof is $1,500 brand new, when the vehicle is 3 years old, I add $500. So you're paying more for the sunroof, but you're not paying $1,500 because all the equipment depreciates just like the vehicle. Matter of fact, the equipment depreciates even more because most people are more, it's more important that they get the right vehicle than they get all the right equipment. But if I could give you that equipment, still save you money over a new one, and you get all the safety features for nothing. You get the panoramic roof for nothing. You would say, well, I don't really care about that. Well, if it's hardly any more, and you're still saving money, and you're getting the safety features, you're getting nice and wheels and tires, you're getting the leather upgraded interior, because if you buy it brand new, you might not be able to afford $65,000, but maybe you can afford $40,000. You know, of course, that's still a lot of money when we're talking about. I get sticker shock just like you folks get sticker shock. I'm mystified. We're delivering today. We're delivering one of those Aviators, a Lincoln Aviator. It's a $77,000 car, and I'm trying to imagine. Now we sold it. I only had 900 miles on it, and we sold it about $5,000 less than a brand spanking new one, which it is new, but I have to call it used because I'm not a Lincoln dealer. But I'm looking at, oh, that's a lot of money. I'm looking at some of these diesel trucks that are selling for $100,000. You know, a fully loaded F-250 with everything on it is $100,000. When you look at a Cadillac Escalade with all the features on it, the Platinum Edition with everything on it is $110,000. The new Hummer that's coming out is $110,000. When an average Camry is $32,000 or $33,000, you know, it makes your head spin on how much these cars are. So when I'm talking about a used car for $25,000, believe it or not, folks, that sounds like a lot of money, but it's a bargain in today's world when you get sticker shock when you go to a new car dealer. And then because of the chip shortage, a lot of these new car dealers are marking the cars up even more than what they're advertised for. So if you got a certain car that's, let's say the window sticker is $35,000, they're selling this car for $39,000 right now because they're not getting any more in. So supply and demand. They've done that with the Corvette for the last 2 years. You know, they came out with that new Stingray Corvette, the new body style Corvette. They came out in 19. That car is absolutely gorgeous. I love the new body style. They're selling for $20,000 to $25,000 over full list. The base one, the LT one, which is a base model Corvette, has a window sticker of $59,995. It's a great advertising ploy. Under $60,000. They're selling at the auction for $75,000. And those dealers are putting it on their lot and selling for more than that. Now, why do they do that? Because supply and demand. They aren't getting a new one. All the new ones are pre-sold. And people say, well, I don't care if it's $70,000. I can afford it. And they want the car and they want it now. And that's what's happening with a lot of cars out there, not just the Corvettes. Now, the Corvette is a prime example of something that's not normal. Normally, a new car comes out and it's hot, like the Mustang, when they came out with the new body style Mustang. It was hot for about 6 months and then it evaporated, and now you can buy one for peanuts on the dollar. But the Corvette, that hasn't changed yet. The Kia Telluride and the Hyundai Palisade, same thing. Those are great SUVs. Consumers Reports loves them. They've been over list price for 3 years now. They've been out for almost 3 years. You go to the dealers that are selling those cars, you can't buy one for full list. I had a customer come in the other day and said that our local dealer was charging $5,000 over list price for the few that they had in inventory. And he wasn't going to pay it, of course, but some people are paying it. That's why they're doing it. And sometimes they do that also so they can give you a deal. You know how people always want what they call a deal. Well, what does that mean? Well, that means a discount. Forget about a discount. You go to a new car dealer, you're not getting no discount. You're lucky to be able to buy one for full list right now because of the chip shortage. You're lucky you even get a car. And you know what the funny thing is? It's not just cars. Same thing with boats. Same thing with motorhomes. Same thing with houses. Have you ever heard a house selling over asking price? Well, it's been like that for a year. Everybody's heard of that now. It's all over the news. Where somebody lists their house for $300,000, you blink, and somebody sold it. My brother did it in Texas the other day. It was a $250,000 house that he had the guts to ask $329,000, and they sold it for $349,000. And they sold it within a week and a half. He wasn't even ready to move out. He's going to be a full-time motorhomer, and his motorhome wasn't ready. He didn't know what to do. He had to pack and get out, and the people were not people that were going to wait. And for what he was getting for it, he was saying, I'm done. So it's not just the cars that are like that. I went to look at a motorcycle the other day. He said, I don't have one. I was going to trade mine in for a new one. Well, actually, just so you know, I tried to find a used one, but there weren't any, because my whole claim to fame is buying used. But if there's no used ones, and the same thing, if there's no used cars available, guess what you got to do? You got to buy new, and you're at the mercy of that new car dealership. So my suggestion always, if you're going to shop cars and you stop at Frontier Motors, is let us give you that out-the-door price with all those add-ons. You know how that price isn't really the price? That's even more important now that the new car dealers, I go on their website, so I look at their prices. They're not anywhere close. You know how they have their prices on and they slash through, like call here for price. You know how normally that's going to be lower? Now when you call in, it's higher. So they're crossing that original price off because it's more than what the original price is. It's kind of a scam. So anyways, get that out the door figure. If you think our used car is too much, have us give you the out the door figure, and then you go to the new car dealer and compare, and you're going to find that we're still going to be way cheaper than a brand new one, and we should be. Why would you buy a used car that's got miles on it unless we're going to save you a bunch of money? Well, we haven't become the biggest used car dealer in the South if we weren't saving people money, and it's how we do it. No haggling. Give you a rock bottom price right off the bat. Compare it to all the other car dealers in our area and see what they have. And if we don't have the lowest price, we're going to have the nicest car. And the biggest thing when you look at a used car is the condition. It's the miles are important, I agree. The color is definitely important because I've had people walk out or walk in because of color. I don't like purple. I don't like pink. I want a blue one or I want a yellow. You know, the color is going to be real important. That's going to be another determining factor. The equipment is to some people not a big deal, but to other people it's a big deal. I had a customer the other day that we lost a sale on because our car did not have a heated steering wheel. Oh, I told him, I said, I can get him one. He said, well, there's a new one down the road. I've got the money to buy a new one. I wanted to come here first. We saved a lot of money. I didn't have that one feature that the customer wanted. So you can't say that equipment is not important. To some people, it's that one or two. I had a customer about a year ago that said, if it doesn't have the safety group, I'm out. And back then, more and more cars are making the safety group affordable. About 3 years ago, some of the safety groups were $3,000 and $4,000. They've come down. They put some things like on a Toyota, the laser cruise control is standard. The government in 2018 mandated that every car produced has to have a backup camera. In 2017, a backup camera was an option. I remember getting scammed by what I thought was being scammed. I bought an Audi and a BMW with navigation. You know how they had that big screen in the dashboard, so you know it's got navigation? Well, I just assumed if I'm going to pay $1,000 extra for navigation, it's going to have a backup camera. Well, these were 2017s. Neither one of them had a backup camera, which is crazy if you ask me. Well, in 2018, even the cheapest cars on the face of the earth, sold in the United States, have a backup camera. So some of these features are really important, and I lost a deal because the customer wanted a safety group and I didn't have it. I try to buy almost every car that I buy off the street. I don't have a choice if it's a trade-in, but if I'm buying one, I try, or if I'm going to auction to buy one, I try to always buy them with the safety features, which to me, blind spot is a big deal to me. My neck doesn't turn very good. I got injured a while back, so I can't see very good. So to me, the blind spot is something that I like to see on a car. Of course, backup camera, which of course, like I said, is standard since 2018. I like the automatic stop, pedestrian control, where somebody in front of me jams on their brakes, and you're going across the Garcon Point Bridge. That's happened a couple of weeks ago, where somebody in front just hit the brakes. They didn't see that the lights were on ahead of them and hit the brakes. And I wasn't paying attention. Now, I don't text and drive, but I wasn't paying attention like I should. My car stopped automatically because I had that automatic stop. I think that's a big deal. It can save your life, especially if you have other people drive the car, especially if you have teenagers drive the car that are not supposed to text and drive, but who knows if they break that rule or not. I'm going down the expressway all the time looking over at people in their car, and they always got the phone. I don't know if they're listening to music, whatever, but they're looking down a lot. So that automatic brake can save your life. And that's what you can get when you get a used car. And that's what you should look for, that you can get without having to pay a bunch more for when you buy it used, because all of those equipment lists have been reduced. Now, you're going to buy a brand new car. Why would you stop at Frontier Motors? Number one, so we can show you the one-year-old used car to compare it. Number two, to give you value on your car. We would love to buy your car from you. Wouldn't it be a lot easier to go out and buy a car if you didn't have your trade-in? Because then you'd never worry about what's the trade-in allowance, how much are they giving me, are they giving me the right value, is there a discount involved? So why not buy the new car without a trade-in, sell us the trade. Within 15 minutes, we'll write you a check for your car, bring in the title, we'll write you a check. If you owe money on the car, we're going to pay the bank off, and then you're going to get the balance when we get the title. If it's electronic title, which a lot of them are, about 2 or 3 years ago, most dealers went to electronic title, which means that we can print the title. As soon as we pay your car off for you, you can get your money immediately because we know we're going to get the title because we actually get the title. The old-fashioned way, when they give you a paper title, is we're at the mercy of somebody sending us a title. So you don't get your money until we physically get the title. But it's electronic, it makes it a lot easier. So if you are going to go buy a new car and they ask you, do you want an electronic title or a paper title? If you're one of those old codgers that are used to paper, I urge you to flip over to electronic. It's much better for you when you sell that car because you'll get your money immediately if it's an electronic title. So we've talked about used cars and depreciation. We talked about getting a buy bid on your car in 15 minutes if you're going to buy a new one. So that way you can either sell your car, or we're going to keep that used car dealer over at that new car dealer honest. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, when you go buy the new car, the used car manager appraises your car. The new car manager doesn't use, normally the used car manager. So they take your car, they always have a little separate building. I don't know why they do that. It's like they're second-class citizens. So they can take your car over to the used car building. That used car manager writes on the appraisal. They take it back to the new car dealer, and then they offer you, $20,000 on a car that I just offered you $23,000 for. So you got to keep them honest by coming to Frontier Motors first. We would love to buy your car, even if you're not buying a car. All the dealers are advertising this. We make it easy because we have 4 buyers. Most dealers have 1 buyer. If that buyer is busy, you're going to stay at that dealership for 2 or 3 hours waiting for them to give you a buy bid on your car, or you have to make an appointment. Frontier Motors, we're open at 8:30 in the morning till 6 o'clock in the afternoon, and you come and we have appraisers that we're guaranteeing you we give you a buy bid within 15 minutes. That way you can get out of here, or you can get that check. You can get to buy bid, and that way you'll know what you want to do. And we're urging you to do this because there's a lot of scams going around. Craigslist, the first 2 or 3 paragraphs when you list your car on Craigslist is worried about this scam, this scam, and this scam. So we want you to be scamless by coming to Frontier Motors, and we'll write you a check. If you want to go to the bank and get $100 bills, we can do that also. Get an Uber ride, you go home, take your tag off the car, cancel the insurance, and you're done. What an easy way to go. And you'll be pleasantly surprised that the value that we give you is a very fair value. It might not be full retail, but it's going to be more than wholesale. So enough for you to forget about the scams and take our offer. This morning I bid on 5 cars. 5 of the cars that I bid on this morning were from private individuals, and I gave them what they were asking for the car. There was no negotiation. As long as the car passes inspection, I told them I'll write you a check for the car because they were asking a fair price. Now, I'm going to put those cars on the lot. I'm not going to make a lot of money, but it's better than not having the car at all because we still want to sell it for less than retail. And that's really one of the things that we want to do is make sure that we tell everybody out there, hey, when we sell something, we're going to make money on it. We're just not going to rip you off, and you're going to get a fair deal. And we're very savvy in our buying that we only buy the cream of the crop. At the auctions, they rate the vehicles from 0 to 5. Don't ask me why I don't go from 1 to 10, but it's from 0 to 5. If they're not a 4.5 or above, I don't even look at the cars. A lot of dealers will buy the cars that are rated 2 and 3 on purpose. Why? Because they buy them cheaper. They can put that billboard on 110 and say, here, you can buy this car, a 2021 for this price. Well, you can, but it's a rat. It's bad condition. It's been in a couple of wrecks. The tires are half bald. It's got a crack in the windshield. And they buy those cars on purpose because they can advertise them cheap. And then they buy the nice ones and they advertise them for way high. They don't advertise them. They just charge you way more. And at Frontier Motors, I only buy the nice ones. So that's what happens when you come to Frontier Motors. Also, if you get in a car accident, folks, we're the place to go to free advice. We're going to tell you how much the replacement vehicle is on your car. Do not settle with the insurance company until you see Frontier Motors to make sure they're giving you the proper figure. And if you have a big wreck where the car is not totaled, you might be due to diminished value. Everybody knows that if you've been in a major wreck, the value of the car is diminished. Just like if you were imagine yourself buying a used car from someone, you run the Carfax, it says major wreck reported, car had to be towed, airbags were deployed. What are you going to do? You're either going to walk away or you're going to say, well, I want to get the car inspected. I want a real deal on the car. That's called diminished value. So if somebody runs into you, you're entitled to diminished value. We will give you a letter of diminished value so you can go back to the insurance company and you can get the other person's insurance company to give you that money because your car is going to be worth less when you go to trade it. It might not be today or tomorrow, but even if it's a year from now, you should get that money right away. You can't go back to them afterwards. You got to do this right away. So if you know anybody that's been in a wreck and it wasn't their fault, tell them to come to Frontier Motors for a letter of diminished value. And who knows, maybe you'll see that replacement car sitting on our lot. We've only got a minute left. Go to Facebook, type in Frontier Motors, and you'll be able to converse with us. Go to YouTube, and you can watch the show. If you've got anybody that's going to be in the market for a car, and they say, where should I go? Tell them to go to YouTube and plug in Frontier Motors, and you'll learn all about us in a half an hour. We also have the show on our website, so Google Frontier Motors. We're the largest Frontier Motors in the nation. There's 6 or 7 Frontier Motors. We're the largest one, so we come up first, and we've got around 280 cars in inventory as of this morning. All of them have detailed photographs, and they all have pricing. So again, get the word out. Frontier Motors, place to go before you shop, not after you shop. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Auf Wiedersehen.